Today I want to show you guys 5 obscure yet effective spawn peaks, starting off with this one over here on Clubhouse. So for this spawn peak, you're going to find yourself up here in CCTV. Now I have found that this actually works best when you're going basement opposed to gym. I just feel like people spawn warehouse more often for basement than gym, and obviously you're not doing it when you're here in CC. But you're going to tuck yourself into this corner as much as possible and punch roughly where I did. You can make it a bit bigger if you need to. I also like one kind of more to the right, not just deep, because if someone does squeeze by and run out this side part from the other hole over here, then you'll also be able to catch them lacking. Now I prefer to do this with DMRs. I am showcasing this on Vigil, but it does work very well. Obviously now ACOGs are gone on most defenders, so you're most likely going to be using a DMR or slugged shoddy, but usually you will catch people lacking right here. A lot of the time they're just full sprinting out, not even looking here. Now this next spawn peak is for when you are basement on Chalet down here in garage. You can do this on any site, but I like to save this one for basement because most likely you're going to catch people lacking out here more often than not when you're going basement because they're running down this path. Now, obviously, I'm showing the spawn peak right here. You're going to want to jump out 4 seconds into the round. So the clock will say 2 minutes and 56 seconds. So as soon as it's at 56 seconds, just jump out and you will always catch people lacking right here. Now, if you do not see somebody instantly that you can kill, jump back in because about 1 or 2 seconds later, people might come from right down here and they will smoke you. You're not going to get both sides. So as soon as you get either 1 or 2 picks, if they are right after each other, then just jump straight back in and you've got yourself a free kill for the team. Now, me personally, I love doing this with Tubby, not only because it's a DMR with ACOG, but as soon as you get your pick, you can also come down here and help Bandit Trick or Cade Trick, and if you want, you could even go upstairs and hold an angle onto this window and get comms from your teammates, and you can actually throw your Tubby right here from upstairs and still help trick the wall with your team. This next spawn peak takes us over to Outback, and I'm actually going to give you guys a 2-for-1 just so you have more options here on Outback. So in my opinion, this first one should be done when you run laundry, and what you're going to want to do is come over and break this window. Now do it as soon as prep phase ends, so if they have a drone out here, they don't see it, and you're going to hop on cam. Now the reason I'm not going to give you a time for when you should jump out here is because I don't know what happens in this spawn. People seem to get lost. But there's also a bunch of different ways people can come from here. So what you're going to want to do is hop on the cam that can see here and either jump out when you hear footsteps on the metal, which will be the roof to the left of the camera, or when you see people start coming and running to this entrance right over here. And what you're going to do is you're just going to jump out and you can see that door right down there, or obviously right up here on the roof. Now I have had one instance where I was standing too close, and I don't know if they came from camping or if you can come around right here, but there was somebody right down here and they could actually see me while I was sitting here standing on the cam. So I like to stand a bit further back when you're on the camera, and then obviously, like I said, as soon as you see them or hear them on the roof, just jump out and you're gonna have the freest kill because a lot of the time they're looking at the camera. Now this next one I like to do when you are actually running party because a lot of people spawn fuel pumps, and what you're gonna do is come over here into dorms, tuck yourself into this corner, look slightly to the right of the little writing, and just make yourself a couple punch holes, and you can actually see ramp for if they go fuel. Now this one is a bit more risky because down here to the side they can actually see you, and if they're very cautious they can also see you from ramp. You should have the jump on them though when they go ramp. But a big issue with this one is actually if people spawn camping, come up the stairs and either kill you from window, or if they just see the hole and swing out on the balcony and kill you. So if you hear footsteps, I recommend just dipping. This next spawn peak takes us over to Consulate, and I have not seen anybody peek from this window ever since the new rework for Consulate, and I don't understand why. This is still such an effective spawn peak, especially when you go basement, because a lot of people will run right here over from the spawn over here, or they'll run right here from the other spawn. I don't understand why people don't use this more because it's still such an effective spawn peak. Now, in my opinion, keep the glass unbroken because if they run underneath you, this will make it pretty much look like you're not spawn peeking. Where if they see glass and rubble all over the floor, they're going to look up here and it's just more likely for you to die. So in my opinion, just keep the window unbroken. But yeah, this is still such an effective spawn peak that I've literally only seen maybe once ever since the rework. So I'd recommend using it. People don't expect it near as often anymore. Now for our final spawn peak, we are going to find ourselves over here on Theme Park, and Theme Park is being enhanced next season, Operation Tenfold Pursuit in Year 10 Season 4. Now I'm pretty sure this will still be able to be done. Now what you're going to want to do is come into cache, break down the cache door, and come to cache balcony. You have to run Valk for this, mainly to get your cam out here. I guess you could do Mozzie and Echo if you wanted, but I'd recommend mainly doing Valk because you can also pick your Valk cam back up. Now what you're going to want to do is come to the balcony, break down the door, and wait just a few seconds because your Valk cam will only have 10 seconds, and you're going to chuck it out onto this pillar, and you're going to look down here, and if you see anybody, you can easily run out and spawn peek them from right here. This is literally the freest spawn peek on Theme Park in my opinion. But again, you have to run Valk, so you're not going to have ACOG. So this one does require you to be pretty good with your aim and pretty good with recoil because, I mean, you're not going to have the ACOG. You're not going to be literally staring into their soul. But this does work very good, and as soon as you're done with getting your kills, then you can just pick up your Valk cam, run back in, and it's like nothing ever even happened. You didn't waste any utility, and you're going to get yourself a free pick. Anyways, that is 5 of my favorite spawn peaks in Rainbow Six Siege. These are very obscure spawn peaks. I never see people do these, and that's why they work so effectively. So make sure to use these in your next ranked games, and I promise you, you're going to have a few free kills. Anyways, peace out, be safe, and I love you guys. Bye-bye.